Hello. Hi. Hola a todos. Gracias por estar aquí y mirar mi canal. Thank you for being here and watching my YouTube channel, The Awakening Empress. As you just heard, sometimes my Spanish comes out and I can't help it. If that bothers you, then you can just click on next. But if you're looking for something different, I ask you then to hang out with me and watch this video. I am Diana. I help people who have been in toxic relationships to set healthy boundaries and love themselves so that they can feel whole again. And in today's video, how to leave a toxic relationship, I am going to share 5, I think, key tips on how you can do that, how you can accomplish that. And when we resist change, the energy, the same patterns of behavior will either continue to deteriorate or um, cause you to have a physical, I'm going to use the word ailment, but that's not the word that I really want to use. It'll come to me probably later on. What you persist or what you resist, I'm sorry, will persist. What you ignore will manifest in physical symptoms. I knew it was going to come out in physical symptoms. And I want to start with that because it is key that you become aware or be 100% certain that you are now ready. And that actually leads me to tip number 1. You have to be 100% sure and have that deep knowing and conviction that you are done, that you're done being in that toxic relationship. When you're wishy-washy, when you resist, when you keep forgiving, when you keep ignoring the signs, because the signs are there. The signs are there that you are dealing with a toxic individual. And if you don't know, then I suggest that you go visit or go watch one of my earlier videos where I talk about, are you dealing with a narcissist? Because I give clear descriptions of what a narcissist is, and how do you know that you are living with one or in a relationship with one. Okay, so tip number 1, be sure, 100% sure that you are ready to leave that relationship, because when you have doubts, you will not do it. I will not sit here and try to sugarcoat it for you and tell you maybe what you want to hear. I'm not that type of coach. I'm definitely not that type of healer. I am very direct in a most loving, firm way, but I do not coach people who are wishy-washy, who are not sure, who think about the what ifs. No, then that means you're not ready. That means you're not ready to leave that toxic relationship. Or maybe it's a toxic career. Maybe it's a toxic um, mentality that you have. But until you are certain that you are done, that your spirit is screaming out to you that there's a better way, that there's a healthier way, that there are healthier people in the world, that you don't have to feel hopeless anymore or feel dead inside. You're not ready. But if you are ready, that is the first step. You have to acknowledge it. Acknowledge it, speak it out into the universe, and tell God, or again, the universe, listen, I am ready. I am sure. I am done. I am ready to leave this relationship, this toxic environment, this toxic career. I am ready. Please help me, guide me, show me the way. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, very important as well. You have to move, right? When you are done and you've voiced it out to your significant other that you no longer choose, because that's the key word, choose to be in that relationship, then you have to move. If you're sharing a house, you're sharing an apartment, then you move out of that bedroom and you go into another bedroom, or you get another apartment. If you have to sell your home, then hey, it's unfortunate, but it has happened. And better to happen early when you know for sure that you no longer want to be with that person than waste 20, 30 years of your life when your children are grown, or maybe when that person decides, hey, it's better we end this, and you're like, wow, it took forever, but at least now I'm done with it. No, you lost 20 years of your life, okay? So don't do that to yourself. Be authentic. Be real with you and your feelings. You can't concern yourself with the feelings of others. So if, like tip number 1, you are certain that you are ready to leave the relationship, then 2, you have to move out of that space that you share. If you do not live together, then you're okay. In that sense that your energetic field is not going to be absorbing the negative energies of the individual that is toxic. So if you do not live together and you feel it in your soul, you feel it that your highest self has been telling you, listen, let's move. Maybe you need to move out of that town, or maybe it's that state, or maybe the county. Whatever it is, connect with your highest self because it won't steer you wrong. Tip number 3, you have to cut off all communications with that toxic person. If you're coming to me for coaching and you've done the first 2 steps, 1, you've recognized that you're ready to leave that toxic relationship, and 2, you're no longer um, living together, or even you moved out of the state, then 3, don't come to me telling me that, oh, we started texting again. He started texting me. She started texting me because they're really sorry. They say that they want to change. He said he won't drink anymore. She said that she won't hit me. That she's not going to make me feel less than, inadequate. in the bedroom, or maybe with, the regular home life. She promises this time. He promises this time. Block that number. Delete that number afterwards. Because you will get back into that feeling, that or belief, because it's that old belief system within you that is lacking at something that's emotional, or maybe it's an inner child wound that you have. Maybe it's abandonment issues or challenges that you had growing up. And so you not cutting off communication with your toxic individual and them wanting to communicate with you, it's just going to mess up with your head, with your thinking, with your emotional self. You don't need that. So, tip number 3, you have to cut off communication. If you have children with this individual, then you get a moderator. I believe that's what they're called, a moderator, to help you, because you do not and choose not to be in the presence of that toxic individual. Now, if you don't have that option, then you go to court and you ask the court system. He needs to have supervised, or she needs to have supervised visits with the child or children. Maybe that's another option for you. This way, you no longer have to be in that toxic environment. Tip number 3 that goes with that, if you do have children together, is, excuse me, oh my God, so much energy is coming out today. If your toxic person is so toxic, meaning that they are abusive, and I'm not going to go into detail as to all the different types of abuse, because I think I have another video about that. So you can go take a look at that. I'm sorry, I hear my children, they're playing. If that individual is toxic and they are abusive, maybe they have a vice, maybe it's drugs, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's something else. So you, as the adult, you have to make choices for your children, for our children, right? And do you want to allow that person to be with your kids, knowing how they are, knowing that they do things that are very hurtful, that maybe they say hurtful things, maybe they will be talking bad about you to your kids? These are all things that you have to think about. And I'm not here to discourage you to walk away from that person. I'm here to tell you what is real, because these are things that you have to decide once you make that conscious decision to walk away from that toxic environment, that toxic relationship. These are all valid. And I will talk about that here in my channel, and I write about it in my blog, just like I coach my clients. You have to get ready for that. You have to make that plan and follow through. It is not easy, but it's doable, because you are not the first person, and you're definitely not the last. Okay? Tip number 4, seek professional help. Easier said than done. What is a professional help? If your intuition tells you that you have to go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist for you and your children, or maybe just yourself, then you do that. There's no shame in that. None whatsoever. As long as it's going to help you and you have vetted out that psychologist or psychiatrist because you want to go to someone who is going to not only listen to you, but also give you that support that you need. Maybe you want to go to a coach. This is my specialty. Not only am I certified, but I've been there too. I've been there, and all these tips that I share with you, all the information that I share in my videos, it's because I've been through it. So I not only speak because I'm certified, I speak from experience. And so it is important to have someone who's going to not only guide you, but meditate with you, speak words of faith into you. Maybe just be that ear, that listening ear that sometimes we need. And that's why it's important. Don't go at it alone, because it'll just be so much more heavier. That's the feeling that I have in my heart center. It is like this heaviness, this, oh my God, I am just carrying the whole weight on my shoulders. And like I mentioned earlier, I am a firm believer of God. And the image that is literally just crossing me is the vision of Jesus when he was carrying his cross. And that is what I am feeling right now, this heaviness that you don't have to carry, that your heavy cross alone, you don't. Let people help you. Don't be embarrassed that you have been in a toxic relationship or that you are in a toxic relationship and you want to get out. There's no shame um, in being in an abusive uh, relationship with someone or a toxic at work, right? People go through a lot of emotional um, experiences that is not only at home, it can be at work, it can be maybe with your social circle, maybe it's your family, right? It's not only the person that you are romantically tied to. So you don't have to do this alone. It's always such a, like a burden is lifted. You're able to just breathe easier at night, knowing that, hey, I'm surrounding myself with a great support system. People that are working with healing themselves, people that are working on becoming more aware, raising their awareness. All of that matters. And so that actually leads me straight to my last point, my last tip number 5, which is to pray and or talk to your spiritual team. And when you're going through something so deep, so personal, there's only one person that you can really be honest with, raw, gut-wrenching, truthful, and that's with God. That's with your spirit guides. That's with your angelic team, right? Your archangels, your gatekeeper, just all the spiritual beings, the ascended masters that are there at your disposal, just waiting for you to say, hey, I'm ready. I'm drowning. I'm suffocating. I'm deeply hurt. I'm ready. Please help me. And they will give you that helping hand that you need. They're just waiting for you to take that first step, because we have free will. They will not intercede until you give them permission to. So please utilize them. Grant them permission to guide you, protect you, to help you with your intuition. I'm not sure if I'm talking to someone who has a spiritual practice, to someone who has a spiritual path, who may be a healer, who you're working on your inner child. I don't know if you're working on those things. And if you're not, now is a good time for you to start. Along with talking to your spiritual team, talking to God, asking Him to help you heal, to give you strength to leave, to start building your faith in yourself, because you're capable of walking away. You're capable of starting over. You're capable of bringing real, loving connections into your life. In all of these things, you can talk, you can pray, you can meditate, you can journal. All of these things you can. But until you voice it out and you let the universe know, their hands are tied. They can't intercede on your behalf. And that's what I urge you, I suggest you to do. I'm going to pull an oracle card for you. Besides being a coach, I am also a Reiki master, and I normally only read oracle cards for myself unless I am called to share. Otherwise, like I am right now, so just please bear with me. They are cleansed, but I just have to shuffle them. And while I do that, I ask you to look within. Know that you're not alone. Be firm. Be sure. Know that after you do this, after you leave this toxic relationship, know that you're making space for what is good for you. It is so good what is in store for you. And I ask you to start envisioning it. I know it's hard. But as you're sitting there crying in your shower, have faith. And it doesn't have to be much faith. I remember having faith as small as a mustard seed, in tears, in the shower, silently crying so that my little boys wouldn't hear me. And because of that small little faith, I am where I am. I'm living my best abundant life. And so can you. Spirit guides, angels, please guide me into sharing the most important message you have for my empresses and emperors who are ready to leave their toxic relationship or have left. What message do you have for them? Oh my God. This is the message. Please take a picture. If you are just tuning in and this is the only part that you see, this truly sums up this entire video and everything that I have shared. And this is the Archangel Oracle cards by During Virtue. And the card that came out was Victory by one of the archangels that I love working with for healing. Archangel Sandalphon. And it says, your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. There it is again. And that's the spirits. That's the angels. That's God. That's the universe. That's called synchronicity. That this is the message to close out the video. And it's possible because anything is possible. And if you have come to the end, I want to thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I will be forever appreciated. And know that anybody who watches this video and you leave a comment, that I will send Reiki healing to you. And I just send you all my love. Love and light.